Are there going to be changes that bring the GOP closer to the center of the aisle?
Absolutely. We're saying what we need to do. And I'm saying in Pennsylvania, that's something definitely we need to do. And maybe we have to teach the folks in Washington, like Michael Steele.
Is it just a Pennsylvania issue, though, Ken? Or is this something that the GOP has to look at all across the country?
Olympia Snow editorialized on it earlier this week. The Republican Party, when Renee says they're going to fight, the problem is they're going to fight amongst themselves now. They were unified in a Republican primary around Pat Toomey, and that's why Arlen Specter had to leave that primary. Now there's going to be a big impetus to get a moderate Republican into the general election, and that is going to set up a fight within the Republican Party in Pennsylvania, which is quite correctly, as you point out, going to mirror the fight that is going on in Washington. It is the soul of the Republican Party that is on the line right now, and the question is, can the soul of the Republican Party stay conservative while they continue to lose at the ballot box?
We were not, I'm sorry, we definitely were not unified as far as Pat Toomey. Let me make it real clear. There's some folks that had, issues. Again, it's about the people making that decision, state committee and leadership. We have not made that decision.
You were unified enough. You were unified enough for Arlen Specter to believe that he could not beat Pat Toomey in that primary.
The polls showed that, and that was the folks out west. And the bottom line is that people need to be polled in the southeast sometimes, so it's a balance.
I was reading an email from your state Republican Party chairman this afternoon, who said it's Pat Toomey basically, and saying we need your help to fight Arlen Specter. So
well, he's basically
the reality though is, but the reality is, look, the Republican Party in Washington and around the country has become the party of no. No new ideas, no message, no leadership. And when you look at what these guys have done over the last 8 years, which was to spend frivolously, and now all of a sudden they're fiscal conservatives again. They're trying to rebrand themselves.
Well, we need to be,
and by the way,
so much.
Newt Gingrich is the leader one day, Rush Limbaugh is the leader the next.
You know what? No, that's
someone
what the
please make
media
up their
makes
mind.
it.
Will Michael Steele ever be the chair of the Republican Party?
Michael needs to step out and do what he needs to do.
He's irrelevant. Let's face it, the guy is irrelevant.
No, first of
Rush
all, we made
Limbaugh runs the Republican Party. Newt Gingrich runs the Republican Party.
No, not at all. That's the way the media plays it. That's the way the media plays it.
Doesn't even know what day it is. He's running the Republican Party.
That's where the media is, Steve. That's not about us. I know who my leadership is. Right now is Rob Gleason in Pennsylvania, all right?
Okay, but nationally.
It's the other folks. On the national level, Michael Steele was voted in. That's the bottom line. And now, yes, he may have made some mistakes. Nobody goes in and has been perfect on the first 100 days.
The problem is, let's face it, the conservative element in your party is now dictating, saying, we don't want moderates in our party. We're not the party of inclusion. Tom Kean, the former governor of New Jersey, was one of the guys who really tried to make the Republican Party the party of inclusion.
One of the things I think we miss here is there is also a fight within the Democratic Party.
Absolutely.
And you see, because what will happen now is, I suspect what you're going to see in this primary, that Arlen Specter is not going to clear the field because there's going to be somebody from the left that is going to try and take Arlen Specter on.
I agree.
Somebody who is pro-union, because Arlen Specter is on the wrong side of card check right now. Somebody who is anti-gun because Arlen Specter is an NRA voting member. Somebody who has a better environmental record. There are ideologues, Steve. I know this is troubling, but there are ideologues on the Democratic side. There are ideologues on the Democratic side, just as there are ideologues on the Republican side. And now we are set up on the Democratic side to see an internal battle.
But I
seriously
doubt, with all due respect,
I don't think Specter wins it. I think Specter wins.
I want him to win. Let me be real clear. Like I told you earlier, I want him to win. I'm not saying I don't want him to win. The bottom line.
Welcome to the Democratic Party.
No,
the next one to switch. I'm so happy. Come on board.
Because something might happen in that process after he wins. So that's not an issue. We can let's look at the gubernatorial race. That's a twofer. This is a twofer. Using your words, we're going to be looking at that closely. Then if something happens on the Democratic side, our governor is right there to make the right decision.
All right. And once again, Pennsylvania finds itself right at the center of the universe when it comes to politics. All politics are local. That's a comment that has been made on this show many, many times. But Danny, do you think for the average person who lives in Pennsylvania or elsewhere, this really makes a difference? Or do they like the idea that there's an elected official who will vote his conscience and do what he thinks is right for him and his constituency?
First of all, is it interesting? Absolutely. It knocked swine flu off the front pages. So it has to be interesting. But second of all, I think you're exactly right. And it goes back to that speech. I think he's speaking to, whether it's sincere or not, I think there is a growing feeling that the Republican Party has moved away from the ideals that a lot of people feel, even people who find themselves Republicans today, the ideals that they stick to. The Republican Party, in the view of many, has moved away from these. And that's why I think a lot of people want to believe that he's doing this for idealistic reasons. Although Yeah, the political reasons are very, very apparent.
Look what the Republicans in Washington and the House did. They voted en masse against the budget. They had a gun to their head. Even for those who are the moderate wing of the Republican Party in Washington, what that means, I don't know anymore. They had a gun to their head. They couldn't do that. Now, Arlen Specter faced the same dilemma, and yet he is a statesman. I've worked with him over the years on different regional issues to the tri-state region, and the guy he's a statesman. So
I mean,
I can't fault the guy for being independent.
What would have happened if there had been a stronger Democratic challenger? Would he have made the switch? Right now, everyone said he's almost guaranteed to win.
You mean if it wasn't cleared out? If it wasn't cleared out on the
if there was a very strong Democratic candidate, would he still be on the GOP aisle?
It would be very hard to identify any Democrat in this state that would be stronger than Arlen Specter if he switched over. Because if he switches,
Ed Rendell said, "I want to run for the Senate."
Well, he's the only one that would, but then they would have done some kind of deal.
He would have been in the mix by now.
That would have been interesting.
That would have been interesting.
Hey, Governor, if you're listening, don't give it up yet.
No, let's
we have to take a quick break.
You have a chance, Ed.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to take some phone calls and find out what you have to say about the so-called Specter switch. And if you'd like to join in, you can always email us at tcn_IYC@cable.comcast.com. We'll be right back.
I will not be changing my own personal independence or my own approach to individual issues. I will not be an automatic 60th vote.
I think that he should have made the decision when Bush was in office to leave.
He's become more and more moderate as years go by, and I think he's decided that this is what he needs to do.
He has been always for the people, and I think that's the big picture here. It doesn't matter what party he is affiliated. He's always been a person for the people.
Lynn Doyle's jewelry provided by David Craig Diamonds and Fine Jewelry, Newtown, Pennsylvania.